Welcome to Secret Love Channel. Ladies and gentlemen, if you want a man to always desire you, he must feel that you are not something obvious, and not something he can hold in his hands forever. This is not a calculating psychological game, but a deep awareness of his own value, an unshakable confidence and a decisiveness if he does not appreciate it enough. When he realizes that you are not dependent, and can even leave at any time, at that very moment, the fear of losing you will arise, becoming a fire that makes him love and hold you tighter. 1. Let him want you more. My friend, if he has not completely captured your heart, he will always be afraid of losing you and must strive to win it. Let him want you more. Don't text him back right away. It just makes you seem like you have no life and you're not interesting. Don't talk to him all day. Don't be afraid to end the conversation first. He won't take this as a sign that you don't like him or don't care. It will just make him want you more. Don't tell him all your plans. Don't pretend to be busy. Be busy. Fill your life so he needs to find a place in it. Let him wonder what you're doing. Don't make your life about him. If he asks you out and you're busy, just say you're busy. You don't have to say what you're doing. Let him wonder. 2. You have an active social life. Keep your social life fun and full of activities. Hang out with friends. Pursue your hobbies. Go to the gym. Continue doing the things you did before you met him. Stick to your schedule, activities, and don't cancel any plans just for him. To make a man pursue you, it is not necessary to use tricks. When you have a full and happy life, he will be curious and want to participate in your life. Don't act arrogant and difficult, but show that you are really difficult to conquer. When you have a full and interesting life, you naturally become someone he doesn't want to lose. 3. You are willing to give up if you find the relationship is not worth it. If the relationship is not what you want, you are willing to let go. Leave. You do this not to threaten, not to use it as an ultimatum, but it is your beliefs and principles. If the guy doesn't treat you the way you deserve to be treated, if the relationship isn't what you want, then you're ready to let it go. This is a very different mentality from most women. They will cling, pursue the guy and do anything to keep the relationship because they are afraid of losing him. 4. Always keep yourself attractive and free. Women often make a common mistake, committing too soon while the relationship is still unclear. You may feel uncomfortable when you see him talking to another girl, but remember that he has the right to do that. Why? Because he is not your lover yet, and you have no reason to impose standards or expectations that are too high. Don't rush to make yourself dependent on him. If the relationship is not official, you should not act like you are his girlfriend. Always let him know that you have value and other options around you. This will make him feel pressured, urged to conquer and keep you by his side. What do you think if one day you become the girl that he never wants to lose? 5. You have high self-worth. Men are not afraid of losing a needy woman because she needs him too much. She needs him to feel good about herself. But a confident woman with high self-worth makes men think differently. He knows that if he is not good enough for her, she will leave, so he will try his best. But how do you become confident? Have high self-worth? Ask yourself how a confident person would act in this situation. Would a confident person terrorize his text messages when he doesn't text back or send him a series of angry messages? Or will a confident woman assume he's busy with something and he'll text back later and she'll focus on something else? You can pick a confident person and ask yourself what she would do in your situation. It could be a friend, a family member, or even a celebrity. Also, have passions. Passionate people are fulfilled, and have high self-worth. 5. You have your own boundaries. Confident people set boundaries and rules and have consequences if someone crosses their boundaries. If one of your boundaries is that you don't want him to make last-minute plans, then you don't go on those dates. If he says he doesn't want to be in a relationship, then tell him you don't want that and leave. If he really likes you, he won't let you go. Remember, boundaries and principles help you protect your value and make the other person appreciate the relationship more. 6. Put yourself first. Many women prioritize the guy they like over other things in their lives. If you want him to be afraid of losing you, don't do this. Continue to focus on yourself. Take care of yourself. Put your own needs first. If you are at your best, the most perfect version, he will be afraid of losing you because he knows how attractive this is. He knows that other people will be attracted to you, so he needs to try. Do better to get you. When you put yourself first, you not only make yourself more attractive, but also help the other person realize your value and try to keep you around. If you have followed this far, please leave a comment. I want to be happy. That is, you will give us more motivation to make more meaningful videos next. If you have not clicked like, please give the video one like. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel to support. We will give you a heart. Thank you very much. 7. Connect with his true self. Most men do not feel recognized and appreciated for who they are. Therefore, they crave genuine connection. It is important to connect with his true self. Connect with the man underneath the mask that everyone still sees. He may show himself as a strong, masculine man to the world, but inside he may have a sensitive heart. You have to look at his true self, not his personality. Pay attention to what makes him happy. Pay attention to how he treats others. What compliments really reach and make him happy. Connect with the real him. This will make him addicted to you and make him realize that he never wants to lose you. Victoria Beckham is the woman that makes men both desire and fear losing. When David Beckham first met her, he was immediately attracted. But the special thing is that Victoria did not rush into him like other girls. She did not try to please him, nor did she appear too eager. Instead, she maintained the mystery, confidence and charisma of a woman who knows her worth. David took the initiative to ask for Victoria's number, but she did not call back immediately. It was this elusiveness that attracted him even more. When the two started dating, Victoria still had her own life, her own career, her own passion. She did not give up everything to chase love, nor did she let herself become too dependent on him. This makes David feel that she is a woman with lasting attraction, someone he must strive to keep. Even after many years of marriage, Victoria still has something that makes David unable to stop pursuing. She constantly develops herself, from a member of the Spice Girls to a successful fashion designer. A woman with a luxurious, intelligent and independent demeanor. Therefore, no matter how many years have passed, David still looks at Victoria with passionate eyes, always respects her and is afraid of losing her like the first day. What makes Victoria so attractive is not her tricks or intentionally making things difficult for men, but the way she always maintains her own values. When a woman clearly understands her own value, does not lose herself for love, she not only makes men fall in love but also makes them always fear losing the most precious thing in their lives. Here's how to text when you don't know what to say. Ask open-ended questions. Let's find out what that is. Don't be a passive conversationalist. Try asking interesting questions to keep the conversation from stalling. Open-ended questions not only help you understand the other person better, but they also make them feel like you're genuinely interested. Want to try this? Stay away from yes, no questions, which tend to kill the conversation quickly. Instead, Focus on how or why questions. These questions not only make the other person share more, but also pique curiosity and a desire to continue the conversation. For example, instead of asking, "Have you eaten at that restaurant?" try asking, "What do you think of that restaurant? Is there anything worth trying? Can you recommend me?" Or instead of, "Have you seen that movie?" you can say, "That movie is really interesting. If you've seen it, please review it for me. Was the plot good? How were the characters?" With just a little change, you will find the story much more interesting. Do you want to try it now? Repeat what the person just said. One way to show your interest in their story is to repeat what they said in your own words and ask questions about it. You can briefly summarize the story and ask more about it. If possible, share your own opinion to encourage them to continue the story and create an intimate atmosphere in the conversation. For example, "Have you been to before and eaten? That's great. I want to eat there too. Have you tried it? You are studying at, so you must know the teacher, right? What do you think?" Compliment subtly. Learn how to compliment others subtly so that the listener can feel your sincerity. The advice is that you should not focus too much on appearance because it sounds unnatural. Especially when you and the other person only chat via text. Instead, focus on their achievements and what you feel about them. For example, "I've been talking to you for so long that I've lost track of time. You're so engaging. I really like the way you explain things. It's very detailed and easy to understand. Would you like to be my tutor? You're really good. I admire you because I've been trying for so long but I can't get anywhere. Your way of thinking is very interesting." Try to deepen the conversation. If you have trouble starting a conversation, try to interact and ask more questions instead. Don't use high-impact words like, "Oh, These types of responses can easily make others think that you are not interested in talking to them. Discuss a common interest. If you and they have a common interest or are active in the same organization or team, turn that into a topic for conversation. You can share some new information related to the topic and invite them to experience it with you. Active listening. Don't think that only in direct conversation can you actively listen to the other person through eye contact or actions. You can do this subtly even in text messages. Respond to their messages regularly, and if you can't respond right away, let them know in advance. Interact with their story by asking more questions or dropping reactions. If possible, stay in the chat while chatting with them so they feel you're there. Take the initiative to ask them how they feel about the story. Share your story. Don't be shy about sharing your story so that the other person understands you better. Many people tend to think that the other person won't be interested in their story. But if you don't open up to share, the other person won't be able to understand you. This is how to text when you don't know what to say to make the conversation more interesting and engaging. Imagine, you start a conversation that is not simply exchanging back and forth, but really to understand each other better. Prolong the conversation and discover interesting things about the other person. Don't just be a passive communicator. Be the conversation leader by asking interesting and open-ended questions. This will not only help you break the ice but also make the other person feel that you are genuinely interested. Do you find this approach attractive? Stay away from yes, no questions because they can easily lead to a deadlock. How or why questions will make the other person think. Share more and feel drawn into your conversation. For example, instead of asking, "Have you eaten at that restaurant?" you can say, "What do you think of that restaurant? Is there anything strange that you think is worth trying? Please recommend it to me." Or, "Have you seen that movie?" Try saying, "That movie was so hot. If you have seen it, tell me about the plot. What was special about the main character? One way to deepen the conversation is to repeat what the person just said. But don't just repeat it. Add your feelings or ask more questions about the story. This helps the other person see that you really pay attention to what they say. For example, have you ever eaten at that restaurant? Have you tried their signature dish? I heard it's delicious, but I haven't had a chance to try it. Is it worth it? Do you study at that school? I heard the teachers there are really good. Especially Mr. A. Have you studied with him? What is your impression of him? In addition, practice giving subtle compliments. Compliments not only create a pleasant feeling but also make the conversation more fun. Don't focus on their appearance, but pay attention to the way they talk, the way they think, or their achievements. For example, I think the way you explain the problem is very good. Extremely easy to understand. Makes me want to learn more from you. That's a great idea. How did you come up with something so creative? To keep the conversation from ending too soon, you need to know how to dig deeper. Don't let the conversation just stop at the surface. Ask more detailed questions and avoid short responses like, oh, or, In addition, if you and the other person have a common hobby or interest, turn that into a topic of conversation. For example, I heard there's a really unique art exhibition this weekend. Do you want to go? Let's explore it together. Finally, don't hesitate to share your own story. Sometimes small stories from you help the other person understand you better and make the conversation more interesting. Oprah Winfrey is not only a talented host but also a master in the art of communication. She has the ability to make anyone feel special when she talks. Not only by listening sincerely but also by asking intelligent questions and skillfully sharing personal stories. One of Oprah's greatest strengths is her ability to listen actively. When she talks, she doesn't just listen. She also pays attention to every little detail in what the other person says. She often repeats or rephrases the guest's ideas in a new way, helping them feel understood. For example, in an interview with Michelle Obama, when the former First Lady shared about the pressure of living in the White House, Oprah not only nodded in agreement but also said, so there are times when you feel like you're not just a mother, a wife, but also have to shoulder the expectations of an entire country. That must be very heavy, right? The way she rephrases the guests' ideas helps them feel truly understood, thereby opening up to share more. In addition, Oprah is also very good at asking open-ended questions. She doesn't just ask simple questions like, "How do you feel?" but always finds ways to dig deeper to help the guest tell their own story. When interviewing Lance Armstrong, the cyclist who was caught doping, instead of just asking, "Do you regret it?" Oprah asked, "What was the hardest moment for you when everything was exposed?" Such a question forces the other person to not answer vaguely but to delve into their true feelings, thereby creating a more meaningful conversation. Not only does Oprah know how to listen and ask questions, she also has the ability to connect through personal stories. She understands that sincerity is the key to helping the other person open up, so she often shares about her own experiences. When interviewing someone who had a poor childhood, she not only expressed sympathy but also told about her childhood. "I remember there were days when I only had one dress to wear to school. I know how that feels." Such stories not only help the guest feel closer but also make the conversation more authentic and profound. It is thanks to these communication skills that Oprah is not only a successful host but also someone who makes anyone who talks to her feel respected and listened to. Her ability to build connections not only makes her interviews emotional but is also an important factor in helping her build a sustainable career in the media field. If you find the video useful, please share it with more people, as well as subscribe to the channel. Like, and if you have any questions, please leave a comment below. Thank you for watching. Goodbye and see you in the next video.